Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new then, of course, welcome back. And thank you so much for returning to watch me and hopefully subscribing by now. On that note, can I just please remind everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any uploads from me. I'm going to be comparing the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish to the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. Now these two are both in the shade light beige, but they do actually look different. This one is a lot more deeper and this one is a lot more lighter, even though they're the same brand and the same shade. So that is something to watch out for. Obviously amazing value for money. You can pick e.l.f. up in Superdrug or Boots, which is quite handy. So yeah, I just love e.l.f. anyway, so I wanted to do this review. So if you would like to see which concealer wins, then please keep on watching. So today I've decided that I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish on the right hand side of my face, and on the other side I'm going to be using the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. To set these concealers, I'm going to be going in with a product that I only bought very recently. So that is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder in the shade Light. So far it is such a brilliant powder. So here is where the powder comes out. Then there's an actual little thing that you can turn to lock the thing. Yeah, now that's open, and then when you close it, you just turn the stop around. I think that's like such a good addition as well, because I feel like a lot of powder gets wasted when you put the lid on, you open it and like loads comes out, like a big puff of powder comes out. So that actually prevents that from happening. You know, if you leave this product upside down in your makeup bag if you're traveling, it stops any product from getting loose. So I love the packaging for that reason alone, but the powder is actually amazing. So on my right hand side, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. As always, I'm just going to be leaving these products on the skin for about 1 to 2 minutes, and that is just because leaving products on the skin and letting them dry down a little bit gives them more full coverage than just blending products out straight away. On the left hand side, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. So I've let both concealers sit on the skin now for about 2 minutes each, and I can notice that this one still looks very wet and dewy as I expected it would, because it's the satin finish side, and this one looks a lot more chalky and matte and dry. To blend each concealer out, I'm going to be taking 2 different beauty blenders, and both of these beauty blenders are damp as well. I know some people like to use them dry, but I prefer to use them when they're damp. I find them a bit easier to work with. So I'm just going to be taking a clean brush now. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star JS12 brush, and this is just to blend out any gaps where the concealer hasn't joined to my waterline. So I'm going to be using the Blue Beauty Blender now. So straight away I'm noticing that this side is really hard to blend out, whereas the satin side was very easy, but this side it's like it's completely dry. I feel like this is completely set, and I'm starting to regret leaving this on for so long now. Oh my god. Oh, it's just literally not moving. Like, if people knew how hard I'm pressing, that is just not blending out at all. So there's one tip on how not to use this concealer. Don't let it sit on the skin for 2 minutes as it's almost completely dry. I might just have to go in with some more to try and get it to blend out. Definitely doesn't seem as flawless, but that is probably because it's probably going a little bit patchy, because it's dry in some parts and then I've gone over it with more product. So in some parts, as you can probably see here, it's just completely dried. But even in terms of coverage, I find this side preferable to that side. So I'm just going to be going in with the same brush now, just to try and blend the concealer up to the waterline. So again, this side is just very dry and really hard to blend out. And in terms of actually covering up bags, I do think that this side's a lot nicer. This side, my bags are just peeking through, but I don't know if that's because I've had to be so rough with blending this away. So I'm just going to put a little bit more there. Bear in mind, this is completely my fault, but this is like the third layer of the 16-hour camo concealer. So it's not really saying much for the coverage. But again, it could just be the way I've had to really press it into the skin and try and pull it about, because it has already dried by the time I got around to blending it. So again, that is something to watch out for. It dries very quick and very matte. But now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be taking the same beauty blender and dipping into some of that Halo Glow setting powder in the shade Light from e.l.f. I'm just going to be setting the under eye. So I'm going to be dusting each powder away with the Peaches and Creams PCO3 brush. So I'm just going to be sweeping this powder. Okay, so that's a closer look of this eye. Again, not much coverage here. Excuse that face. But straight away, I feel like this side here, it's already dried and I was unable to blend that out. So there's actually quite like a mark there. You can actually see. You can see that I've tried to blend it here, but it dries so quick and it really is tough to move about. Whereas this side was a lot more easier to blend out. This side looks cakey, even though I use the same baking technique for each eye. So far I'm definitely with the satin concealer up to now. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing the rest of the makeup off camera, and then I will return to sign off and say goodbye. And remind everyone, of course, to subscribe. So guys, I'm just checking back in like I said I would, and I still feel the same about which side I prefer. I still think that the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish is a lot better for my skin anyway, in terms of how it's blended out, in terms of colour as well. It's not as creamy as this side. Both consistencies are very similar, but this is a more creamier colour and this is a more yellowy colour, goldeny. They are actually like completely different colours. So this one is a lot deeper and this one is a lot lighter. So that would explain why this eye, in my opinion anyway, looks a lot lighter than this eye. I don't actually mind that it's a bit lighter. I don't actually mind that. But I think I do mind that it was so matte and dried so quick. It was so tough to actually blend out. That's obviously not good for my makeup routine, only because my little rule of the thumb is always to put concealer on the face and just let it sit for 2 minutes to get more of a full coverage. But with this concealer, that is just not possible, literally, because everyone's seen in the tutorial how dry that went and how hard it was. I was practically ragging it under my eye and it was still just stuck in the same place. And even now you can still see how it's just set. From here, it's a very, very stubborn concealer, which is probably a good thing normally, but when it comes to blending out, that's not such a good thing. And as you've seen, I had to go in with like 3 layers to make it wet again, to try and blend it out again. Before I give a yay or a nay for this concealer, I'm going to be trying it again, and I'm going to be not letting it sit on the skin. I'm just going to be blending it out straight away, seeing if that works any better. But so far, I definitely prefer the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. Again, that could just be because of my application technique, but both are very good value for money. I'm just wondering if I'd purchase this one again just off this one performance, and I probably wouldn't, because this side also seems more full coverage. But yes, again, my techniques are to blame for maybe this side's performance, so I might actually just do another review video comparing these two where I just blend out straight away. One thing we do have to consider for this side is that this side just had 1 layer and this side had 3, and still the coverage of this one is a lot more full coverage than this one. I suppose making all this mistake here has actually gave this side a bit more of a chance to shine, basically. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, which I will leave on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.